And welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting starting here at 7:06 Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Before we start, can we get everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's fine.
Audit stuff.
All right.
I think.
Patty, can we please start with roll call, please?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Clinchie.
Here.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirica.
Here.
Supervisor Rob Scram.
Here. All right, first let's go into our public hearing. The first one on that, and Patty, I'll ask for publishing and postings in the matter of the extension of the Heritage Hills Special Water District in the town of Somers, Westchester, New York, Westchester County, New York, to be known as the Regency Heritage Hills Water Extension pursuant to the Article 12-A of the town law. Publishing and postings, Patty?
That was published in the Somers Record on September 25th and posted on the town clerk's bulletin.
Great. I'll make a motion to open it up.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. And who do we have here?
Good evening, Corey Salomon. Here tonight. I have Regency. I have Andy Albrecht from Regency, Cordone from JMC with me this evening. And we're here for the public hearing and to answer any questions you would have on this extension.
Great. Thank you. I know you guys have been through this before, right? On a few things. I think one of the things I think the last one was, did you guys have the conversations with Veolia, right?
Yes.
How far along you are with that process?
Right.
I have a will serve letter.
You do.
Bring
I
up
think we were waiting for that the last time.
Yep.
That's why.
my approach and
Yeah, handed.
hand it to
Yeah.
Mark.
Bailiff.
Yeah.
God.
How were those conversations been going with them? Come on up. State your name, please. Great.
How you doing? My name is Rich Cordone with JMC. We've had a number of conversations with Veolia Water. Veolia Water has offered us willingness to serve for the application. The next step after this is once we get the approval from the town, we will present that to Veolia. Veolia will bring that to the DEC, get the rubber stamp on everything, get everything finalized, and we'll be able to apply for a new water service.
And if you could just remind the public as to why you guys are to do this again.
Yep.
Should I bring somebody else up for that? Okay.
Grab a drawing for everybody. So make this quick and clear. Right now, this water gray area is the existing Heritage Water District. We have our site right over here, which is a darker gray. We're proposing to add that to the district. Right now, our site's operating under private well, and it's operating as a public water supply with the county department of health. With that comes additional a lot of regulations as far as operating, maintenance, keeping track of it, and as well as water treatment systems that are associated with that.
So what's in that site? That's the shopping center,
Yes, that's
the entire shopping center. Okay.
what we're proposing to do is there's an existing water main that runs right along the edge of the property line over here.
Yes.
So what we're going to be doing is running a water service from the edge of the property line into the building. That water service will be metered, will be backflow prevented, everything will be approved by the Westchester County Department of Health. And the property owners will be purchasing the water instead of the existing private wells. They will be now purchasing the water from the Heritage Water District that's operated by the Veolia Water.
Okay. So going back when we approved that subdivision over there, we extended the main water all the way through to Somers Commons on Route 100. Right? Somers Commons? Yes.
Yes. You're there.
So you're tapping into that
Yeah.
that thing. And so, I mean, that's a good thing. So the shopping center has access to all of that, but we're not talking about sewer or anything of that. Okay.
And it in about, I want to say 23.
Was it
3? More than that.
Might have
It was
been.
before COVID.
Around that.
I think it was
Around that.
It was done as part of Somers Crossing.
Yeah, I wasn't on the board at the time that you guys went.
That was 2000. Yeah. So
Or Scranton.
that was finished before COVID.
Okay, good. That's, that's very good.
So, are you familiar with the wells just up Route 100 here, where the water comes from? Do you know anything about the testing there? Someone asked me the other day, are there any, because we have PFAS right here. So is
Yes, that's true.
anything up there that you have noticed, not to get anybody concerned though, how have those tests gone? Did you see anything notable in that?
That's all operated by Veolia Water.
Yeah,
They have to constantly test the water.
Right.
According to WIFIT regulations and present those tests.
and you've not seen those test results?
No, we have.
Okay.
Just one other quick question. Once you connect, all the stores there essentially have the infrastructure to essentially get the water. So they don't have to essentially individually hook up.
No. Water,
Like,
goes into one of the buildings.
yes,
Well, goes into one building.
You want this?
It goes into one building,
Yeah.
and we, all over here, this is where the CVS is. This is, one of the outbuildings. This is the bank.
yes,
Wells, there's a water treatment system. And then from that water treatment system, it gets distributed.
yes.
What we're proposing to do is run a new water service from the main into and connect to this right after the water treatment system and maintain the existing distribution network. That's gonna send it out to all.
Does all the stores there have access to the sewer as well, though?
Yes.
Are they connected?
Yes.
Oh, they're connected. All right, good.
Now, we have heard, go with that sewer, how that's going to benefit those stores. And our concern is always, how does it benefit the people we represent here in Somers? How will this improve service, or in any way will people who use that almost every day, will they see an improvement in service or anything that they will notice as a result of this project?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, Andrew Albrecht for Regency Centers. There's a couple of main benefits. One of originally the sewer connection and getting the property off of septic was a huge benefit to us because it expanded the variety of uses that we could have
Right.
at the center.
Especially restaurant.
Exactly. The water, while the wells are perfectly capable, the well is perfectly capable of providing all necessary water for the center. Having the consistency, the safety, and the reliability of municipal water service is key. If the property currently right now, if the property loses power, there is no backup generator for the well system, so the center would effectively close. This way, with us being on municipal water, if power is lost, the tenant could still figure out a way to, conduct business if they wanted to.
So what will happen to that excess capacity then that you have? It'll become dormant, you won't use it? It's emergency,
What excess capacity?
I mean, of the wells that you have there now,
Those wells that well would be abandoned.
it would be
or
abandoned. that's what I'm saying.
decommissioned per, the health department or whatever that procedure is.
Okay.
And the treatment facility would just be disassembled.
Yeah, I got you.
Currently, right now, I mean, the Department of Health probably has you guys testing every so often, right?
Absolutely. And their new regulations for the PFAS and all this additional treatment is one of the driving forces for us to try and push this connection now, because just the upgrades to the infrastructure for the treatment of the well water, plus then the added ongoing maintenance, annual testing and the upkeep is a phenomenal cost. So this would be a real benefit, cost-wise to the tenants at the center to lower their operating cost.
Would Regency see any changes in the shopping center itself as a result of more water being available?
There may be hopefully a little bit of a different variety of tenants. Maybe we could get some more food users in there. Right now, the center is relatively full, and it's stable.
good.
It's wonderful.
Not many
probably
shopping
have.
centers can say
Yeah.
that.
So in the short term, I don't see many changes happening directly from this.
Yeah, wondering.
Yeah.
I remember that being an underperforming property in the past. I think
Mhm.
the Chico's there has created a little bit of destination. And I think drive the
There's a lot
whole
of
center.
with CVS and the Chico's, and then
Yeah.
their tenants, the physical therapy has expanded recently.
Oh,
Park, yeah.
So, in between DeChico's and then that connection to the sewer, to the public sewer, was both those events were a huge,
And I'm sure you got more foot traffic from Somers Crossing coming.
absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Although they tend to complain about the traffic going through.
Yes, they do.
Through theirs from Duncan out to the highway.
Or the 3 o'clock rush of kids.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Is that-
Uh,
Oh.
Well, that was a big win, putting the
Absolutely.
facility in there.
yes,
Just revitalize that whole area.
yep. It was a great combination with the housing development, the cheap and getting us on sewer.
Yeah.
So
Right. Anybody else? Rich, anything? Roland, do you have anything?
Nope.
No? Anthony?
No, that's good.
No?
Let's go for it.
Okay. Do I make the close out first, right? Yeah, I make the motion to close out this public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make the motion to all right, we're gonna do a roll call, but the motion's going to be to extend the water district.
Make the motion.
And someone get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No,
You wanna do-
roll call. Sorry.
No, you're fine. William G. Faulkner,
Aye.
Councilman, sorry, William G. Faulkner, Councilman Richard G. Clinchy,
Aye.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico,
Aye.
Supervisor Rob Scrano.
Aye. Motion passes.
The missing link in my roll call.
I know. Thank you, guys.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Much.
All right.
All right, good luck.
I know people used to refer to them as the missing link.
What do you think the time frame to implement?
We got all the paperwork in order. The town will be resubmitting that, we'll present that to the New York City State. We'll be presenting a plan to Jillian next week, to get the ball rolling with their approvals, and then unfortunately, we'll be having the health department for a little bit. I'm hoping in the summer.
Well,
Most
Next
people
time.
are tied up there.
well, you're under a year.
Most people are.
That's okay.
Spring, summer. Okay.
Yes.
We'll see, you know.
In case people ask, we'd
Crossed.
like to have an answer. All right, thank you.
All right, next on the public hearing here in the matter of the zoning text amendment related to the solar energy systems pursuant to 264 of New York State law and 1-8 of the Somers Town Code. I'll make the motion to open up that public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So move. Patty, publishings and postings, please.
That was also published in the Somers Record on September 25th and posted on the town clerk's bulletin board.
Well, thank you. All right, Dave Smith.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. For the record, Dave Smith, Planning Director for the Town of Somers. Just to add on the public hearing notices, notices were circulated to a number of the interested and involved agencies, including all the surrounding communities and Westchester County. Just as way of background, this issue was first presented to your board back in August when you reviewed the draft language. A notice of intent to act as lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act was circulated to a number of the interested and involved agencies, including Westchester County and your own planning board. You received comments from both the county. County essentially said they have no objection to your board acting as lead agency. The planning board also came back with no objection, but they did have some comments on the proposed language, and those were reflected or are reflected in the version that you're currently considering as part of the public hearing. The proposed language is for solar energy, legislation. This picks up on and is modeled after the NYSERDA model ordinance, which many communities have used to promote and regulate solar energy production. And it was also modified based on other local examples within the immediate area. So the intent here is to regulate solar energy, and this typically is defined as what we would call a tier 1 solar energy system. And that's typically what you would find on a residential building, residential house, where or a commercial building where they would have the panels installed on the rooftop or the roof system. For those,
Just for the record,
yes.
we're not changing anything to the tier 1.
No, the tier 1 is essentially you see these all over the place.
Right.
They would be a homeowner or a commercial business would apply to the building department for a building permit. There's no site plan required. So it's simply a matter of going to the building department, providing them with the plans and the specifications. They would review it, and it would be approved through the building department.
Right, okay.
I think
There-
I asked you that the last time you were speaking about this, a neighbor who has it said, do I have to take this down? And to the homeowners, as Rob's point, this does not change anything.
Not change anything.
Correct. If you have an existing system,
Right.
they don't have to take it down. It's a pre-existing condition.
These are large systems.
And nothing changes. If anybody wants solar out there for your rooftop or your house,
Right.
right? Nothing changes. Still go to the building department and get a permit for that.
Yes. There is what's called a tier 2 system, and that is essentially it's either an accessory structure, which may have solar panels, or a separate ground-mounted solar system, which is typically self-consumption. So it's basically for that property owner's use. That is held in abeyance for now, and that is reserved for potentially some future legislative action. So that's not included with the proposed language. And then the tier 3 solar energy systems are typically what you would refer to as kind of a solar farm, where you have multiple panels on a larger piece of property. Now, for that type of system, the proposed language has specific criteria. The property must be located within a residence in R120 district. At the time of the application is submitted, the property must be used as school or institute of higher education. And 3, the total area of the tier 3 solar system shall not exceed 12 acres in size. So this was specifically crafted so that it applies to essentially schools within the town of Somers. And the benefit there is that those educational institutions create or have a benefit with the production of the solar energy, and that in turn lowers their costs for maintenance and operations of their facility, which in turn would be reflected in cost savings to residents of the town of Somers. So that was specifically why that particular language was crafted. In addition, based on comments from the planning board, we added some revisions that if the New York State Commissioner of Education has endorsed the plans and specifications of the solar energy system, then upon filing of said endorsed plans and specifications with the building department, the requirement for a building permit pursuant to this subsection shall be deemed satisfied. So in other words, in many cases, when a public school is proposing improvements, those improvements are typically approved by the Department of Education. So essentially, somebody above the town of Somers is reviewing it and approving the specifications and requirements. Now, there are, as part of this process, it's a two-step or two-phase process. One, an applicant would submit to the town board for an overlay district, specifically for that area to be applied for the solar energy system. And that overlay district, because it's a zoning amendment or zoning map amendment, would come before your board. You're the only board that has the discretion to adopt zoning map amendments and zoning text amendments. Subsequent to that, if an applicant needed to appear before or get an approval, they would submit an application to the planning board for both a special permit and a site plan approval.
So practically speaking, that solar development in that BOCES area
Yes,
is going to come before us for, an adjustment at some point.
they would come before you for,
If in fact they successfully get it off the ground.
yes, if they would come back to you, they would come to you for a zoning map amendment to apply the overlay to the property that they're considering for the solar array. And in fact, that matter is, I think, an item for discussion later on on the agenda. They've advanced plans with New York State and New York State Department of Education for a solar array. Essentially, it's a facility. Even though the BOCES facility is located within both the town of Yorktown and the town of Somers, the solar portion is located just in the town of Somers. So these criteria will apply to that particular portion of the property. In the event that an applicant comes before the planning board, there are certain criteria, special permit criteria that they would need to consider, including how the utilities are placed, particularly where it's mandated that the utility lines are placed underground, the vehicular paths, signage, glare, lighting, tree cutting are all part of the special permit criteria. And then there are a site plan criteria that an applicant would need to review, including looking at setbacks, height, development coverage, stormwater management, and screening. So as part of, again, getting to crossing over to the BOCES, that application has been reviewed by Michael Toohey from Roland's office in detail. They've been coordinating directly with BOCES. Your town engineer, consulting engineer, Steve Robbins, has been reviewing the plans. The Bureau of Fire Prevention has reviewed the plans and provided comments on the BOCES application, and your highway department, because there's a road opening permit that's required, and they've reviewed that aspect of the application. So I apologize for kind of conflating the two, but they're somewhat related, and I think it's important that you understand that how the proposed legislation would be implemented, and then you actually have an actual application that's within the town that,
Bureau of Fire Prevention also had a chance to review, correct?
yes,
Yes, right.
yes, this was forwarded to them for their,
Okay.
yes. So and then in the final aspect under section 173 of the town code, there are a series of definitions, and we've added a series of definitions that help define the proposed uses, and allow for better clarity with respect to applications coming before you. So that's a summary of the proposed solar legislation. You have actually have an opportunity now to hear from the public. If you close the public hearing, you would need to do a negative declaration or an environmental determination. A negative declaration means that the application or the proposed action does not have any significant adverse impact. And that would be my recommendation, given that this only helps to better regulate these types of uses within the town. So with that, I would turn it back to you, and if there are any comments from the public.
When will the local residents be sort of notified that this is sort of
Well,
local residents over there? No, when will the residents contiguous to this proposal be?
Oh, when the overlay district, when BOCES requests that requires a public hearing, correct?
Correct.
That'll be the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's my understanding that BOCES they've had at least one meeting where they've invited members of the immediate area,
Yeah.
right, to come in and at least participate as part of that discussion.
that hearing on an overlay district would be in front of us?
Correct.
But they've said, okay, well, that's very good that they've held that.
Yeah.
People, yeah.
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 Yes. Much better.
Dave,
Everybody
thanks.
should do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good best practice. One would think.
Okay. Make the motion to close out the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move. And I'll make the,
Well, you may have,
yeah.
Questions,
Anybody questions?
comments,
Comment?
from all of you?
Nothing.
case.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh,
Roland.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're right.
All right, so we closed that out, so I would have opened it back up if we need to. I'll make the motion to adopt the neg deck. I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And adopt the local law. And I'll make the motion here to adopt the local law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. That's it. Thank you
We
so
don't
much.
need a roll call for that?
No.
Okay.
All right, move on to our public comment section. Motion to open up public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Anybody here for public comment? Anyone?
We still taking that on Zoom too?
It's available, I believe.
Is it available?
Paul, do we have
I don't know.
anybody on Zoom? Ben
no one on Zoom.
Okay.
We send out an email to everybody's on the system.
Goes
Well,
out.
that's available.
Yeah.
And you can
Okay.
attend the meeting, I think, by Zoom as well.
Mhm.
All right, if no one's here for public comment, I'll make the motion to close it out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So move. Patty, department reports, please.
I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Engineering, tax receiver, and director of finance.
All right. Going to the matters of the town board here. Nothing here for my update. But let's move right on to announce that October 2025 is American Archives Month. Time to celebrate the importance of preserving the records and stories that connect us to our past. Thank you, Patty. This is well written. This is beautiful. Here in Somers, we're proud to safeguard the rich history of our community. The Elephant Hotel, designated national landmark, historical landmark, and our town hall marks its 200th anniversary this year, standing as a lasting symbol of Somers' place in American history. The town clerk's office, along with the Somers Historical Society, works year-round to preserve and share the documents, photographs, and artifacts that tell the story of Somers, people, places, and tradition. This month, we celebrate Archives Month at the Elephant Hotel Bicentennial. We invite everyone to take a moment to appreciate the value of the archives and the fascinating stories they help us keep us alive. So we will have 2 videos featuring local residents using the Somers Historical Society's archives are currently airing on our public cable channels. Video 1 demonstrates how archival materials can be used to create a painting, and number 2 features an author who grew up in Somers discussing her book, Do Elephants Dream of Paradise? Sorry, which highlights Old Bed. So that is American Archives Month.
Patty, where do we keep archives? Those are digital, they're in
Wow.
safe place, they're off
Variety of
site.
places.
It's funny you should ask.
Thank you.
Well, tomorrow is Digital Archives Day.
I've heard.
Ding, ding.
Like,
So we-
set up for it.
We do have archives digitally in hard form. They're kept either in the town clerk's vaults. Many of our
You do have a vault? I have.
we do have a vault, yeah, and a lot of our permanent records are housed in our vault. Artifacts and that kind of stuff are either in the museum or at the Wright Reese Homestead.
Records are downstairs.
Records
that
downstairs,
humidif thing, whatever it is.
humidified.
Humidified. Okay, but those are not, that's not the archive.
No,
Those are the records.
yeah, I do have some things in a safe in my office. We got, but some of it's digital, but most of it is tangible.
Okay. Well, it's a town with historic
Significant.
history, so, we would think that we would have a lot of stuff.
We do have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's the great divide between the town and the historical society. So some things belong to the town.
Yes.
Most things belong to the
Right,
town.
right.
Then there's things that belong.
Right.
to the historical.
Like Tom Thumb's little uniform.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to number 3. BOCES. Abe, do you want to come back up and?
Yeah, so just so a quick updates. There's not much to add based on the previous discussion we've had, but BOCES has an active application before New York State for the construction of a solar array. Part of as you recall, part of the BOCES campus is in the town of Yorktown, and there's a portion that's in the town of Somers. The portion that's in the town of Somers is essentially vacant, and that's where they're proposing to install their solar arrays. It's approximately 12 acres in size. And the purpose there is, again, for BOCES to realize some of the benefits of solar energy to help cut down costs on their maintenance and operations of their facility, which creates benefits for not only them, but for the constituents that they serve, which include Somers residents. So they have initiated the secret process. They did issue a negative declaration earlier this year. The town, once they received that, has been in contact with BOCES, and we're working through a review of their proposed application. I think, as I indicated, Michael Tui from Roland's office has been kind of spearheading that effort and doing a great job on coordinating all the different components. There have been several of the town agencies,
Excuse me for a second.
including the Bureau of Fire Prevention and the town's highway department, the planning office, and also Steve Robbins, who's the town's consultant engineer, who have been reviewing the plans and providing feedback on particular issues with respect to access and things like stormwater management. The proposed application is also being reviewed in detail by New York City DEP because it's within the New York City watershed, and they've been providing comments on the proposed site plan application. So with the approval of the proposed of the language that you just adopted, it's now incumbent upon BOCES to submit an application to apply the zoning overlay to their property. And then that allows them to kind of finish up the process. They still need to get the Department of Education the final approvals for the building, the proposed.
Should we
solar-
expect them to come before us at all?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was the discussion that the town has had with BOCES, that as part of this process, the town would, because before now, a solar energy system was not a permitted use within the town of Somers. What has been the language that was adopted now allows for solar energy systems to be constructed, but within very strict guidelines. And we talked about that it needs to be at least associated with the school. It needs to be within the R120 district and can be no more than 12 acres in size. So they fall into all those criteria, but they need to apply for the zoning overlay.
Two questions. Do you happen to know the parcel, the part of their property
Mhm.
being proposed? Is that the same part of, might you know that they once proposed for possibly building a school? Do you happen to know if it was on that? It hasn't come up in any of your conversations. I'm just trying to picture it.
That hasn't come up in any conversations.
Yeah, that was
That was way back when.
probably about 15, 20 years
A
ago.
little before my time here.
Oh, okay. Before mine too. And the second question is on what you just said about solar facility. Let's say Regency was just here, said, we want to put on the roofs of the shopping center, get a lot of sun. We want to put some solar panels there to generate electricity, keep the cost down
Mhm.
for the people who are in that shopping center. Would this be permitted? It doesn't fall in the same criteria.
That would be considered a tier one.
That would be a tier
A
one.
tier one system. So
Okay, so
they would just apply to
Okay.
the building department
Okay.
for a building permit.
All right.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Do our neighbors hear about this? Yorktown, have they come weighed back in on it since it's on the border?
We provided them with a public hearing. Actually, we provided them with the notice of intent to act as lead agency, which included the proposed language along with the environmental assessment form. And then we also notified them of the public hearing, which included the draft language with the notice. So they've been notified. We haven't heard anything back.
Okay, great.
Are they getting it? Do they have to get permission from New York State for permission to use that property for a non-educational endeavor?
They need to get permission from New York's the education department for the installation of the facility, which even though it's not it supplements an educational use. So there's still oversight and approval from the Department of Education.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Patty's not here.
You also needed a drink.
Oh, now everything stops.
Yeah. Anybody,
Went shopping for solar panels while we were.
David, the reference here to consider an environmental determination, that
No, that's not required because
It's not.
right, because, and I think Michael has clarified that issue that that BOCES is actually getting, they received their or negative declaration from the Department of Education. So that supersedes anything that the town would be providing. And that was specific language in the proposed legislation that we went
Right.
through. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
There's no action for us. That's just,
Nope, that's it.
just-
Now you just have to wait for BOCES to come in for with a formal application.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm next,
Linda, it's your chance.
chance.
Chance, take over.
Wally Pipp just left.
Wally Pipp.
You like that reference?
I do. I'm so proud
Thank
of you.
thank you. Bud. All right, Steve Sapola from Hardesty in Hanover, a Town of Somers traffic engineer consultant. Do you want to come up here, Steve? And we've had a lot of discussions here, and I've had a lot of inquiries from the public based on the North Edge development up on Route 6. People are asking, do we have in-house engineering, traffic and engineering firm? And I wanted you to come and speak on that behalf, please, about North Edge and what you guys saw and all those in that regard.
Okay, thank you. Again, my name is Steve Sapola, Senior Traffic Engineer and Professional Engineer in the state of New York from Hardesty and Hanover. We conducted a peer review as part of our on-call traffic consulting for the town of Somers. The town asked us to review the traffic study prepared by Collier's Engineering, as well as the site plan prepared by Bibbo. So as part of our review, we follow general guidelines and standards in traffic engineering and traffic impact studies. And as part of our review, review certain steps in a traffic study. So for North Edge, Collier went out, did traffic counts at the adjacent intersection of Mahopac Avenue and Route 6. So as part of our review, we looked at the count to make sure that it was done on a typical weekday and schools were open. And because it's a residential, typically New York State DOT standards is to just provide analyses for morning and afternoon peak hours. So Collier did counts from 7 to 9 and 4 to 6, the typical commuter peak hours. And then what they do is they select a 1 hour period, which is the highest volumes for those two, both morning and afternoon, to analyze.
The highest volume in each of those two, or the highest volume between?
No, the highest volume in the AM commuter peak and then
Yeah.
the PM, because obviously traffic patterns are
Right.
So we reviewed that and we concurred that, traffic counts were done, on an appropriate typical day. Schools were open, weather was fine. And then the next step in the traffic study is then to project the volumes out to a design year or an anticipated completion of the development. So Collier's projected the traffic volumes out 1.5% per year. And for Westchester County, the typical growth rate projections are about 0.5%. So 1.5% per year, it was actually very conservative. And in addition, in the traffic study, when we projected out, we also want to include any potential other developments that are approved that could come online in the foreseeable future. So Collier included a couple other developments, and then as part of our review, we found that they missed a couple developments. So we provided them with the information, and then in the second submission, then they provided the updated analyses with all the other developments that are there. So the combination of both the growth rate and then the other developments brings us to a future condition, which we call a background or a no-build condition, meaning what it's going to be in the future without the development. So that's kind of your base for comparative purposes for when the development is built. Then the next step is to project, is to estimate what the proposed development is going to generate. They were proposing 77 townhouses. Collier actually used so to estimate site traffic, we go to a handbook by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. It's published by them, and it provides trip rates for any development you pretty much could think of. It's probably a couple hundred developments, you know, from shopping centers to single-family homes to medical buildings. So that's the industry standard to calculate estimates for site traffic for a proposed development, and that's part of New York State DOT's guidelines for estimating development traffic. Collier actually used single-family homes trip rates, which are actually higher than the townhome rates. So they provided a conservative analysis when estimating what the proposed development would generate, which was, I think, 62 cars in the morning and 78 in the afternoon is what they found. The next step is to review current traffic patterns and also anticipate, you know, where residents will be traveling to and from both during the morning and afternoon peak hours. So we concurred with their assumptions of, you know, where traffic is going to come from and go to. And so then they apply the site traffic estimates that they had to those percentages to the both the driveways as well as, you know, the study area intersections. So those assigned site traffic volumes then are added to the previous no build condition volumes to get a build condition volume with the development open and operational. So we concurred with all of those steps, getting through volume projections. Then the next step is to do what we call a capacity analysis using a software that you put in, you know, volumes and different adjustment factors, and it provides a operational characteristics for the study area intersections, and the program projects vehicle delay and you know, queues, how many cars are going to be waiting in a queue, and those delays translate into a letter grade, A through F. So similar to, you know, in school, A is, you know, grade, F is failure. So typically what we'd like to see is something D or better. Once you get to an E, it's getting towards capacity. It's functional, but it's getting towards capacity. And then once you reach an F, then it's, you know, at capacity.
So D is good.
D is good.
Great.
A through D.
Day school's great. I get you.
So Collier ran their the capacity analysis. They ran it for an existing condition. What we did is we reviewed the results of that existing condition and compared it to, you know, current field observations and operations of the intersection to make sure that everything lines up and shows, you know, what's currently out there today. And we concurred that, you know, their model was properly calibrated for, you know, existing conditions. Then they take that model and then apply both the no build and build condition volumes. And then what we do is we look at we compare the no build condition to the build condition to determine what are the impacts of the development. how much delay how much the delay increases, how much the queuing increases. And what we found is that there was some minor impacts at the signal of Mayapack Avenue and Route 6. But Collier provided what
Is
we
that east or west or? north or south?
I believe it was on the north and south.
Okay,
There was
that's where people are concerned.
there was an increase in delay. And that, like most traffic signals along Route 6, it's a very long cycle length. So, there's typically longer delays on the side road, as New York State DOT typically, provides, a majority of the time to the through movements because the volumes are very high. But what Collier did is what we call it they provided a build with improvements or with mitigation. So what they did is they looked at the existing timing plan to see if they could adjust some of the green times to the side road to mitigate the impacts that they're finding, and they were able to come to provide a timing plan that would mitigate it back to a no-build condition, or maybe even a little bit slightly better than a no-build condition, which is what we're looking to do. We don't want the development to, impact more than if it wasn't there. So as part of our review, we reviewed that, and our recommendation was they'll have to go to New York State DOT for all the permits for the driveways and for the as part of that, they'll provide the recommended signal improvements to DOT for them to review and approve and implement to mitigate.
But you're saying those proposals will be successful in mitigating, as you said, your opinion.
Yes, in our opinion, it showed that those timing changes would improve operations on the side road. Yes.
So, when people are thinking through this, they're thinking through this on a very practical basis. So if you have 62 cars in the morning,
Mhm.
I mean, the presumption is the 62 are leaving the facility. And
Uh,
does it come out on Route 6 versus Mayapack Avenue?
Yes. As part of the proposal, they have a right turn in, right turn out driveway directly to Route 6, just west of Mayapack Avenue. And then they had a full movement driveway to Mayapack Avenue. As part of the study, where I was talking about the distribution, that's where they determined based on what directions cars are going to be coming, from and to, what driveways they're going to use. So those percentages, then they assign the site traffic to.
So the expectation in the morning, let's say,
Yeah.
on the northern part of Mayapack Avenue, most likely, individuals will be leaving the facility. So the full 62 cars are not going to go out that Mayapack Avenue.
Correct.
They probably mostly go out on Route 6.
Yeah, let me just see. I could probably get you that answer.
Wow.
Actually.
So how do you call
So if the,
Yeah, well,
if it's a two-family household?
yeah, so those departing vehicles in the morning, they're estimating a little more than half of them, 55%. It's going to make the right turn out of that driveway, and not even
Onto
Route
Route
6?
onto Route 6 to head west. Yes.
And then 30 will probably half would come out on Mayapack Avenue on the northern part of Mayapack Avenue and come up to the
Yeah, that 40%.
40%.
40% of
Minus.
traffic.
That would happen.
We'll either go through. They'll either go through on Mayapack Avenue, head south, or 25% will make a left and head, into by the town commons.
What about on the way back, in the evenings?
Eh.
Most of that will all go through Mayapack Avenue?
In the evening, they have, yes, in the evening, they have 55%. Those 55% coming back, then we'll be making a left off of Route 6 onto Mayapack Avenue and entering that driveway.
Okay.
And the assumption is, some of the traffic coming up Mayapack Avenue and some of the traffic traveling, from the east on Route 6 will come in, the Route 6 drive.
So I have a question,
So-
right? So you're saying conservative number 62 in the morning and 72 in the afternoon, right? How do you guys come up with that number 62, right? You have a two-family household, right? You have a two-bedroom,
Mhm.
right? Maybe you got two cars in there, you know, two people each person has a car, one family member goes this way, one family goes that way. Wouldn't that be over 120 cars then?
The site traffic is based on a 1 hour period.
Okay.
So typically, like as an example, when I leave for work, I leave at like 7 o'clock to get into the office. My wife doesn't leave until 8:30. She works right down the road. So that's one car, me leaving during 1 hour, and my wife's leaving during another hour. So
Okay,
it's not,
I get it. I got
it's not,
Hey.
or so,
So they do it
Yes,
by
and-
they do it by per hour then, right? That's
it's
62 per hour.
it's looking at a 60-minute, a 1 hour.
Right.
Okay, thank you. All right. I didn't.
Yeah, and now like today with, remote working, it might actually be, even less,
You are aware, I'm sure, that
Yeah.
when proposals come up, we had place full. And for most people,
Mhm.
traffic was the issue.
Of-
You know, as we've said, if it doesn't go well up there and there's traffic jams and everything, no one's going to say who built it. They're going to say who approved this thing. So that's why we're so careful about this. Now, one of the things that came up, if you're familiar with the site, is people coming out onto Mayapack Avenue by the church, where they have an agreement for them to egress there. Some of the people on Mayapack Avenue, which is a little sleepy up to the north there, I don't want them turning left. Their traffic engineer here said that we can stripe that so that it makes them go right, or maybe we'll have the town put up a sign. In your estimation, is that sufficient? Will that be successful in your experience?
Um,
Some people expressed skepticism that night.
okay, so we're talking about the driveway to Mayapack Avenue. The concern is vehicles exiting.
They turn left and then come all the way around, come out at Baldwin Place, but
Yes.
other lights. So that's a concern that they were going to try to look. Everybody in the morning, everybody wants the shortest way, right? I mean,
Oh,
always.
of course.
So I'm just wondering, in your estimation, and you have no connection with their traffic engineer, right?
No.
Because on that night, obviously, hear people out there, well, they're paid by the applicant, for God's sakes. Of course they're going to say that. So you have no connection with that whatsoever. You're just reviewing their review, basically.
Yes, it's
And so do you think that that is, in your professional estimation, is that a plan that, yeah, you should have some degree of confidence that, yeah, that's exactly what will happen. People will exit right and they'll go to the light, and it won't impact people to the north of the site on Mayapack Avenue, where it is, like I said, a little sleepy.
Yeah, no, I don't think, based on, looking at the surrounding roadways that a significant amount of traffic would exit that and use that shortcut. And based on the the distribution and, looking at current traffic patterns, I don't see, a significant amount of traffic making a left and using that as a shortcut. I would see very minimal, and it may be people going to visit other people in the neighborhood at most, I would say.
But
I
are
don't
some
see it as a-
design characteristics that you could recommend would mandate a right?
Yeah, I mean, the simplest one is signage.
Yeah, signage, but that's not always.
I mean, the other alternative is similar to what you're doing on Route 6 with the right turn in, right turn out, where you do a little mountable channelized turn there that diverts traffic, to force them to make the right.
A channelized, you would call that a channelized, what?
I mean, striping?
No, it would
An island of some sort. but-
it would be some type of mountable line.
Oh, I see.
So then, obviously a fire truck would be able to mount it
Jeez.
to come in.
Yeah.
Which is similar to what we asked the client to put on the Route 6 intersection, because that's a right turn in, right turn out. Similar to what's shown on the site plan there, but just for the exiting movement. On the entering movement, it would just be straight. So then left turn movements would be permitted in. That would be the only difference between what's proposed on Route 6 and if you wanted to put that there.
Did you propose that to their engineers at any point? Or are you just saying it to us and we can,
He's saying it to us because we've asked them.
Yeah, no, I mean,
okay, they haven't had any response. Oh, good idea. We'll do that. Thanks.
no, I mean, based on our review and, knowledge of the area, we didn't see the need to restrict the left turns there because we don't anticipate
Okay.
being a significant, issue.
But if the board feels that that's warranted, that could be asked.
That's something, if
How would we?
if the town, thinks that's feasible, that's what they would like, that's something that you could ask for, yeah.
Yeah.
And that would, be, more of a physical deterrent than just, the signage for no left turns.
We should take that up with them, but okay,
Okay,
that's helpful.
Anything else, guys? What was the grade?
The grade,
You said there was a grade, right?
D was
You said
satisfactory.
D was satisfactory, right?
E and F no good. Where did they come out?
yeah, let's see. Let's see.
This is a grade after the mitigations, right?
Correct, yeah. So overall, in the PM, you're at a D.
Again, for the public, D is good.
And in the morning, it's C. That's the overall grade for the intersection.
The morning a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better in
C.
the morning. The PM is a little bit.
What is C? C is above satisfactory? What is the?
Yeah, well,
C is typically average delays between 20 to 35 seconds. And then once you get to D, it's 35 to about 55. That average, those
Average.
average wait times.
Okay.
Yeah.
35 to 55 seconds. Equals D.
And you said for a C is what? What's it average? 25 to 35?
It's about 20 seconds to 35 seconds is the average delay on, a movement.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, guys? Very helpful.
Okay.
yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate
No problem.
it.
Great. Thank you.
you.
Have a good night.
You too. Patty, we're going to remove number 5 for this evening. And then Jeff Shaver from PKF O'Connor Davies, our 2024 audit.
Yes.
Take it easy, Dave.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good
Dave, thank
evening.
you, bud. Appreciate you coming in.
Bye, Dave.
Thanks for waiting, man.
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for thank you for having
Good
me.
to see you. If you have
Just don't ask me to give a grade
if-
at the end. Don't do that.
Well, for us, D would not be good.
Yeah.
No, we'll continue to take our AAA.
Please.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Shaver, partner with PKF O'Connor Davies. Happy to be here to present the results of the audit for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024. If you're following along in the book, the first thing I'd like to highlight is the independent auditor's report, which is the first page after the table of contents. We have issued what's known as an modified opinion on your financial statements. That's also referred to as a clean opinion. That's the most favorable opinion you can receive. What that means is the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects. And that is essentially our responsibility as auditors to render that opinion. It's the responsibility of the town and town's management to fairly present the financial statements in accordance with US GAAP and maintain effective internal controls and adopt appropriate accounting policies. And we also state that in the auditor's opinion. The audit went, I would say, very well. Your director of finance run, keeps a good set of books, and the finance team that you have here, we receive full cooperation, from them. It's actually a pleasure to come here and work with the town. It's always one of the highlights of my year, to come for this audit and, to come.
Oh, you're getting carried away now. Is that? I don't know. It's
Thanks,
Bob.
Bob. I'm saying that because Bob's here. No, I appreciate the hard work that they do to make our life
Great.
to make our lives easier. When the books are in good condition and we don't have to make significant adjustments, it makes our life easier. It makes the reporting easier. It just makes for an easier situation for audit and, allows us to focus our attention where we should be in making sure that the financial statements are fairly stated. So it allows me to be more comfortable, allows my team to be more comfortable. So everything went fairly well. With that said, I'd like to take you through some financial highlights. Oh, before I do the financial highlights, I just wanted to point out, after the independent auditor's report is management's discussion and analysis. And that's, it's actually written by, your director of finance. I do review it to make sure there's no inconsistencies or anything like that. It puts the financial statements kind of more plain language, to the outside reader. And it does provide some additional analysis that you wouldn't necessarily know from financial statements, such as the why revenues increased or why expenditures increased, and some of the reasons behind what happened. So I urge you, if you haven't already, to read management's discussion and analysis, because I think it is helpful in understanding what's happening with the town financially. So I'm on page 23 and 24 of the financial statements. This is the general fund, statement of revenues, expenditures, changes in fund balance. On page 23 is the general fund. On page 24 is the highway fund. Each has a 4-column presentation, original budget in the first column. The final budget would encompass any board approved transfers or amendments that happened during the year, followed by the actual results. And lastly, the variance is the difference between final and actual. So in the general fund, you can see revenues were originally budgeted to be 11.1 million, and that was revised upwards to just over $12 million, while the actual revenues were 14,480,000, some 2.4 million greater than what was anticipated to be collected. That's a positive variance.
I'd say.
Is that the ARPA, maybe?
So ARPA is the biggest part of that.
Yes.
Yes. So there was, let me explain how this New York State wanted ARPA to be accounted for. New York State said any revenue related to the ARPA needed to be recognized in the general fund. Okay, regardless of where you spent the money. So you have about most of this federal aid is ARPA, and on the federal aid line you can see 2,385,000 of that. That's mostly ARPA. Some of that was spent out of the highway fund.
Okay.
So the highway fund piece gets transferred over to the highway fund. So all the revenue is here, but there's an offsetting transfer for the highway fund piece. That was about 925,000 transferred over to the highway of the 2.2. The rest of it was spent out of the general fund. And some of those items had been spent in previous years. That's allowable under the ARPA because it had a period in which you had to spend the money. As long as you were within that period, that's acceptable under that grant. So 900,000 got moved over to the highway. The rest is really, the budgetary surplus in the general fund. So about 1.4 million is related to the general fund's piece of the ARPA. That's the biggest piece of the 2.4. A sales tax was also greater than budget, about 468,000. Use of money in property, that's where your interest income is recorded. Some 600,000 greater than the budget. The rest of the variances were quite small, with the exception the real property taxes had a negative variance this year of about 350,000. Now, keep in mind the town is collecting taxes not only for town, but also the county and the schools and the fire district. And you have to make all those entities whole for the entire amount of their levies. At that point in time, it becomes the town's responsibility to follow up on all those collections. So if taxes receivable go up, it's not just town taxes, it's all the related taxes. If those taxes go up and aren't collected within 60 days, you can't recognize the revenue in your general fund. So if taxes receivable increase, your revenue's got to have to drop. So that's why the negative 350,000. So 350,000 to your in your situation is not a concerning number. It's just something that needs to be,
Timing issue?
it's a timing because it's not collected. It has to be
Yeah.
collected in 60 days
Yes.
is the rule for the general, for the governmental funds. Eventually it'll come back when, it may take years sometimes. But eventually that would come back. But if there's an economic downturn and people aren't able to pay their taxes on time, that could be a negative impact to your budget. And that's where you would see it.
That's why I always maintain we want to have a strong reserve balance. Because although we're, our tax levy may be $8 million or so, we're collecting $120 million and making mandatory payments to the agencies or municipalities that we collect for.
Exactly. So even a 1% drop in the collections on the bigger number you just mentioned
Yes.
it can be substantial and it can happen fast. So in my time with the town, I haven't seen anything, substantial and, any substantial increases. Things have been well. But when times get bad, if the economy turns, it could change at any time. So that's the reason for the negative variance. That's really the only negative variance that you see here. So that's your 2.4 million revenue surplus. On the expenditure side of the budget, the original budget called for spending of 10.6 million, and it was revised upwards a little bit to 10,865,000, and the actual spend was right on the money. $25 underspend of the budget. It's a pretty small number.
Not a typo, huh?
It's not a typo. The way your town and your director of finance handles the expenditures, very closely managed, very close. And the $25 is a really small number, but I typically have over the past 4 or 5 years, see very small numbers there. You rarely, have much excess in that appropriation category. So your appropriations are quite accurate. You come, close to the spend. Maybe you need to revise to go over a little bit, but historically, since I've been involved, have always seen the appropriations be quite tight, allowing really the revenue to be the driver.
You're saying quite tight here or in general as you go through all the towns that you serve?
I'm talking about Somer specifically. Yeah, the expenditures are managed quite tightly.
Good.
Thank you, Bob.
Indeed.
Why isn't it 10 or 0?
Or 9.
Next year, he'll work on that. I mean, I see that as a positive, to very closely, manage. It allows you to closely manage your expenses. Every dollar that's going out is closely watched. So you're kind of flat on the, no surplus on the expenditures. So your revenue surplus is really your surplus. When you adopted your 24 budget, it was a balanced budget. There was no planned use of fund balance. So there was a small amendment during the year to use some fund balance, 140,000. And you see that in the final budget column on the bottom. But the rest of it, the difference between those two falls to surplus. So there was an increase in fund balance, 2,285,000. The general fund had 13,265,000 of fund balance at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, 15,550,000 total fund balance.
So we have a fund balance of 15 million, a total budget of approximately the same. Is that right?
That's about 11 million. The general fund.
Yeah.
The general fund budget. Now the town-wide budget is bigger than that. I didn't make a note on that one, but your fund balance in the general fund is greater than the general fund budget.
Is that unusual?
I've seen it
I know there's
for
state guidelines.
all towns in Westchester, and it's because of the mostly the tax collection issue that we just discussed, in that you're collecting, is it 120 million at this,
Roughly.
yeah, over 100 million, your budget's only 11 in the, so your piece of the tax collection is very small.
Mm.
The town tax piece of the piece that you're collecting is very small. You need to have some significant reserves to be able to cover fluctuations in the school taxes, which is a much greater portion of that whole pot.
And by law, we have to make that whole. If
Yes.
Yes.
buddy pays taxes, we still got to pay that amount.
And the
That is
making the county whole.
So I,
Right, everybody. Right.
yeah, I always think about it, if a large, owner doesn't pay their taxes, we're still on the
We're on the hook.
to pay the rest of the.
And you need fund balance there to front that cash,
Mhm.
to advance that cash to the schools, the county,
Yeah.
and the fire district. That's what your fund balance. I would say, is the biggest reason why you need to have a larger than average fund balance, because you have that obligation. Now, how much that fund balance needs to be is, up to the town board. That's really a town board decision, but you would need to consider how much that is every year, that make whole number that you need to, put out to the other entities. So I have seen similar situations with fund balance being greater than the budget, with relatively small towns that collect a lot of taxes for the schools. And it's kind of a Westchester County phenomena, because we're the only county that does it this way. All the other counties in the state, to my knowledge, the county makes everybody makes everybody whole, and so the towns wouldn't have to worry, about this situation. It makes the towns in Westchester a little bit unique.
So, but these type of balances, plus having, a very strong tax base, translates into a AAA bond rating for the town.
Correct.
If we didn't have that capacity to do that, that rating would be lower. This all translates into lower borrowing costs. And,
And for the county too, right?
for the county,
Well, I mean,
So the
make,
county, I think,
so they're,
Well, that helps us with our responsibility.
with our responsibility. Yeah, it's our responsibility. It does,
it helps the county in that they don't have that obligation.
yeah.
So all the towns are paying the county, so they have a variance on their real property tax line of 0 every year, unless something highly unusual.
I think that helps the bond rating.
So I think that does help the county, because it's essentially guaranteed revenue.
Right,
The towns don't have that situation.
right.
Schools have that situation.
Yeah.
In that they're guaranteed by
We're
the
taking
town.
care of everybody.
Yeah.
So okay, so I got off track a little.
Yeah, we got off track. Sorry about that.
The highway fund had an increase in fund balance, mostly because that ARPA money was moved over to the highway fund, 925,000. The total increase in fund balance of the highway fund was 1.1 million. So the highway fund started the year at 1.8, and it ends the year at 2.9 million of fund balance. I'd like to take you to the chart on page 52. Shows the various components of those fund balance amounts. Now, in this chart are all the governmental funds of the town. I'm focusing on the first two, the general and the highway. So you can see in the first column, 15,550,000, that's your general fund, followed by the highway fund, 2.9 million. The various categories are listed here above. Non-spendable indicates that part of your fund balance is not in spendable form. What you've done is the town has prepaid some costs that relate to 2025 and 2024, because the cash is no longer with you. You can no longer spend that.
Prepaids.
Prepaid expenses. So that's a required carve out of your fund balance. You have restricted funds for property damage of about 512,000. those funds are available for use, but only for that specific purpose. The assigned category is the small amount there, 230,758. That was the amount of fund balance used to balance the 2025 budget. So that's the anticipated use of fund balance for 2025. The other items listed as assigned are essentially management earmarks of fund balance to be used for these specific items. Capital is $8 million and tax certiorari costs of 2.5. So that's a big chunk of your fund balance that you've earmarked to be used for capital and tax certs. The rest is what we call unassigned fund balance, not earmarked in any way, available for use for whatever the town board, needs to use it for. And that's 3.7 million in the general fund, left over after all those other categories.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the 3.7 million represents about 28% of your budget. In the highway fund, you don't have much in the way of earmarks or restrictions. So 2.8 of the 2.9 is really available for use for highway purposes.
So Jeff, just back to the prior conversation, if I needed to make a payment to another municipality, that $3.7 million would be where it would go.
That's where it would have to be taken from. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Hopefully temporarily.
Temporary, yes, of course. But it becomes risk management. So the question is this a lot or a little? I don't think it's a lot.
3.7 million. No, because your make whole number on 120 million could easily be several $1 million.
Yes.
So I would suggest that would be a floor at the bare minimum, enough to cover those tax make whole numbers.
Right.
I've seen municipalities having to issue tax anticipation notes or short-term debt in order to make those payments, which is an additional cost to the town. You have to pay the interest on that if you don't have that fund balance. So you're not in that situation, obviously.
But it just goes to risk management.
I would say your fund balance position is strong. And it's been managed quite well, from where I sit. Lastly, I just wanted to point you to the debt that's outstanding. The town has been able to it's been able to fund many of its capital work through the general fund with its surplus. So through the years, and also ARPA helped too. Some of those capital costs, had you not had ARPA or been able to fund it through fund balance, your debt load would certainly be higher. At December 31st, 24, there's $3.9 million of bonds outstanding. The annual obligation on that is about 500,000. So what I would consider to be a low debt service load for a town of your size. There was no new debt issued during 2024. And the 8 million that you have as part of your fund balance would certainly, if you have a big capital project in mind or, whatever the case may be, would serve to offset any debt that you need to issue.
So we have debt capacity if we need it.
So I think that kind of paints the picture. Town's in good financial condition. I believe I reported a similar situation last year. So I'm happy to be, here to kind of report the same thing again, more of the same.
Appreciate it.
I don't really, from a financial condition point of view, it looks pretty good.
Doing what we're doing.
Can you speak to costs going in the future that we really don't have control over, which would be state retirement system and other things, as well as our health costs for retirement? I know each year we've asked this question. At one point, and maybe at this point, more people are receiving health care And I'm not saying they're not deserving. I'm not implying anything. But the fact more who aren't working for the town than are working for the town. I was just wondering if you can speak to that issue, because that's always a concern, and I guess especially for me.
There is a significant spend um every year for retiree health insurance. Um, that number in 2024 was about $1.1 million. So $1.1 million of your budget is earmarked for health insurance payments for retirees. They no longer provide services to the town, in addition to what you're paying for your actives. So that's a long-term obligation that you're not allowed to fund in advance. You're kind of stuck with the pay-as-you-go method. So you're doing it how you have to do it.
So that's almost 10% or so of the budget about it. Nine?
No, if you, that's just the general fund budget, but yeah, no, it's significant. It's significant.
Do you happen to know if that percentage has increased in recent? Do you have any method of any way to compare it to see, oh, that percentage going up and you people better be careful about this? Or it's remained constant and it's not really causing a problem?
I don't have the
Because as we
percent-
all know, more money you spend in one place is less money you have on another place.
the only thing I have in the financial statements handy is the total spend on retiree health, and because it's a required schedule, and it's been around between 900 to $1 million. Now it's up to $1.1 million. So fortunate, unfortunate people, retirees, they sometimes pass and then they come off the rolls and then a new retiree comes on. So if that's happening at kind of an even rate, it kind of keeps that cost steady. So as long as you don't have a big spike in your retirees, you may not see a huge spike in that total cost, and it doesn't look like there's been a huge spike in that total cost over the last 7 years or so.
Slightly
It
up,
increased,
but
not,
probably the increase in costs from. the
yeah,
health insurance.
the increase in cost alone, it appears to be mostly an increase in cost rather than an increase in the number of retirees.
Yeah,
Just, because we know there's been health insurance premium increase.
absolutely.
Premiums, yes.
The premium increases have been quite ugly, honestly, like it's double digits some years, and that's tough to manage. So that's an ongoing issue for all local governments who are providing these benefits to their current and former employees. You have to absorb that in your budget.
Does O'Connor Davies have any forecasts you're advising your clients or your towns, us, about how to prepare for that? Or that's not your business?
A little bit beyond our scope. We just see the trends, that the costs keep on rising. There was a few good years in maybe the first year of COVID where people were using less health insurance because we were all cooped up. There was an unusual thing where people weren't using health insurance for a short time period. But after that, it started to really go kind of crazy. And it doesn't seem to have an end to it.
Mm-mm.
So that is an ongoing cost that every local government, this isn't specific,
Of course.
that all local governments have to absorb as part of their budget. And as it becomes a greater percentage of your total budget, it becomes a little harder to manage.
I mean,
The retirement rates for the pension rates, they've been increasing as well. So that's another concern. I don't know if it's quite at the same rate as the health insurance, but there's increases there to be concerned about.
the pensions, we get an assigned percentage from the state, right?
Yeah, the state the actuary, they work with their actuaries to determine a rate based on the tier every employee's in, and based on the salaries you pay them and the tier they're in, they get assigned the percentage. That becomes your,
As long as the stock market stays up, though, those costs
yes, if the
Fairly
stock market's
stay.
up, the rates tend to stay down,
plunge.
a
2-year
yeah.
lag or something on that, I think.
5-year average they use
Oh, yeah.
to kind of smooth it out if there's 1 year of spikes or whatever, so it doesn't hit all at once. But a decline in the stock market would certainly eventually increase your rate
Sure.
if it doesn't bounce
It's
back.
also got the interest rates and the discount factor.
Yeah,
Correct. It's complicated.
yeah. There's you can pull those audited financial statements, and there's a lot of information out there. We do look at some of it because
But
And
there's a number in there about at least the number of individuals that are on the rolls and then how much of a number of individual retirees that were
so that's for the health insurance.
for the health.
Yeah, we do have that number. It's a disclosure. Active employees, and now this is when your actuary, their valuation, so
Yeah.
not necessarily December 31st, 24, but, you know, close. 81 actives and 71 retirees.
So it's like, it's 100%, right?
It's
It's essentially.
15. It's half
Any
health insurance
retiree
costs are retirees.
Yes.
You want to say just about half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been fairly consistent, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't have all the reports in front of me, but I believe so. And that supports what I was saying, that cost hasn't gotten much higher.
Yeah, I believe that's the case as well. It's been pretty,
That's all I had prepared to discuss tonight. If there's anything else you want me to cover or any additional questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to try and answer.
Jeff, that was awesome.
appreciate it. You're
Thank you.
making my life easy.
Yeah, really good. I don't have any questions. Do you?
No.
Yeah, just a comment. I appreciate it, Jeff, and I heard you say that the fund balance is quite strong. I heard you say that we're managed well. I've heard you say that our we have a low debt service load, and the town's in a good financial position. And thank you for that, and thank you to Bob Kehoe and team for bringing all of that to us.
Bob, a real thank you to you.
Yeah,
Yes.
big time.
Stop, guys.
Yeah, okay, go play golf tomorrow. Day off.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Thank you.
See you
Right.
next year.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Well, I'd set on to number 7 here. New Dawn Family Resource Center discussion. Just let you know, we've been supporting the New Dawn Family Resource Center since 2018, since their inception. For those people who aren't familiar with New Dawn, they provide support for domestic violence victims. They are moving locations to a new location. Since 2018, we've been supporting them with their facility, and along with 5 other towns, help support them as well. One thing great about the New Dawn is they do provide for people who might be listening out there, and peer support groups for domestic violence, victim support line and referrals. They have emergency lodging arrangements you can go to. They have financial assistance, food and security programs as well, legal services, outreach. They have an advisory board. They do have meetings and symposiums. All of this information is confidential. If you are looking for someone to talk to or need support when it comes to domestic violence. So I'm proud to sign on to this for them and give them the support that they need. And I'm sure the other districts are going to be doing it as well. They've just been a great resource. I think we've had them in here before talking about some stuff. But anybody for domestic violence out there, please contact them. They have some great resources. So I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Sadly, we're just not immune. Somers is not immune to this. I mean, this happened
Yep.
in Somers.
If someone wants to, say, can you contact them? Where can they get that number easily on the town
I
website?
believe we have it on our town website. I'm not going to give the person's personal cell phone out here.
Wouldn't?
But it's going to be on our website. So if
Okay.
it should be on our website for New Dawn. We've had them in a couple of panel discussions that we've had when Somers went through some things year and a half ago. So please take advantage of it. Everything is confidential, and it's important that you find someone to speak to or get the guidance and the right support and for this. There's a lot of stigmatism out there as well about it. I get it. right? You don't want people to know your business, but there are support groups and there are people to help. And like I said, everything is confidential, so please contact them. This is for for tonight, for the approval of 6,000 to support the New Dawn Family Resource Center. I'll make the motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Roland, do you know, is that a private or is it a private public partnership, or that's a private organization that contracts with the 5 towns? Do you happen to know?
I don't know.
Why not?
That amount to voluntary that we just granted 6. That's kind of voluntary. That's not mandatory, right?
No, it's voluntary. But yeah, for us.
Yeah.
They've been at the community council meetings.
Yeah, they've been at community council meetings with us before. We've had them.
Yes.
So hopefully though, thanks for reminding me, we gotta set one up again. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is authorize the supervisor to execute the following. A is to request to pay out 22 unused vacation days to Howard Vinberg upon his retirement at the appropriate date to be determined by Bob Kehoe, Director of Finance. And the other one is B, all necessary forms, including the lifetime benefit solution form that contain information needed to prepare the plan document for the flexible spending account, FSA plan, for the town per email dated October 3rd, 2025 from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. Patty, I'm going to put both A and B together. I'll make one motion to request a payout of 22 used days and all necessary forms to be done. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next one on here, Patty, we do have an add-on. Let me just grab it here. I think it's in this. The JCAP grant. That gives me. This is for. All right, so I'll make the motion to authorize the submission of the JCAP grant in the amount of $30,000. This will be for our court. And I'll make the motion to authorize the grant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So
The application for the.
For the application for the grant. Thank you. I didn't have it with me. It's somewhere in my folder. I'll probably, as soon as I look for this pile, it'll probably be here. Here we go. Number for Parks and Recreation, request permission to offer listed equipment for sale at public auction per memo dated October 1st, 2025 from Stephen Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation. I'll make the motion to request permission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved.
Need a lawnmower.
Do you?
Ugh.
Highway, request permission to go to bid for 2026 materials for the Highway Department per memo dated September 23rd, 2025 from Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways. Make the motion to request permission to go to bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. We do have some personnel. We do have some current vacancies. Affordable Housing Board, Assessment Board of Review, Planning Board, Library Board, Planning Board, and Zoning Board of Appeals. As everybody knows out there, we do have
Man,
for the open council person seat, councilman, councilwoman seat. It is open. We have bringing back the candidates for a follow-up. Thank you for all those who came back. You'll be getting a call the next couple of days or so, but we appreciate the people who came to the town and threw their hat in the ring, so we really do appreciate it. Thank you. Let's move on to number 3, authorize the promotion of Darwin Yanza from Assistant Park Foreman to Park Foreman in a probationary status at the grade 7, step 6 salary in accordance with the CSEA contract per memo dated October 1st, 2025 from Stephen Ralston, Parks and Recreation Superintendent, effective retro to October 1st, 2025. I'll make the motion to authorize the promotion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
And congratulations to Darwin. He
Yes.
hasn't been with us all that long, but he has shown good leadership according to our parks superintendent.
He has.
And we look forward to his assistance in keeping our parks beautiful, well maintained.
Well deserved. And then let's go to number 4 on this. Authorize the hiring of Howard Vinberg as part-time availability PTA labor for the Somers Parks and Recreation Department at an hourly rate of $25 per memo dated October 1st, 2025, from Stephen Ralston, Parks and Recreation Superintendent, effective retro to October 6th, 2025. I'll make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, number 5, acknowledge the hiring of Nico DeCola as a probationary full-time road maintainer in the Town of Somers Highway Department at the starting salary of $56,118 at 90% of $62,354 with an hourly rate at 26.9798 for the first 6 months, and then he will receive 95% after 26 weeks. Upon completion of 1 year of service, he will receive the full salary rate per memo dated November 30th, 2025. Nicholas DeVito, Superintendent of Highways, effective October 6th, 2025. Mr. DeCola has passed the necessary background checks. And that we're just acknowledging that, but congratulations to Nico DeCola. Let's move on to the consensus agenda. I'll make the motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. We do have some calendar events coming up here. October 21st and 22nd, we do have our department budget hearings, and that's 9:30 to about 2:30, right here in this room.
Each day.
Each day. That's 21st and 22nd of October. November 6th and 13th, work session, regular meeting, 7 o'clock. December 4th, work session at 7 o'clock. And then we moved again our 11th meeting to December 10th, which is going to take place on the Wednesday. And that's for our town board regular meeting.
We have a Wamoa.
We do. We have Wilmoa, and that is on the 11th. Invites will be going up soon. Can't wait. Should be nice. Looking forward to it. We do have some announcements. Let's get that. Thanks for everyone who donated and attempted to donate blood during the Tuesday's blood drive. We collected 37 life-saving pints. Great work. Somers Seniors Program presents Oktoberfest celebration. That's Friday, October 10th, which tomorrow. And that bus departs at Van Tassel at 10 o'clock. Westchester County Mobile Shredder's coming back to Somers, and that is Tuesday, October 21st. That's from 10 to 1 at Reese Park. Medication Take Back Day, sponsored by Somers Partners in Prevention and the Somers Police Department. And that is Saturday, October 25th, and that's 9 to 1. Somers Police Department, that's 100 Primrose Street, Route 139. Somers Leo Spooky Costume Parade, and that is Saturday, October 25th. And then at 10 o'clock, they'll gather behind the Chase Bank in Somers Town Center. 10:45 is the parade to Bailey Park, and 11 to 1 is festivities. Ooh. I heard that. I heard that out there. Woo. Somers Library and Somers Volunteer Fire Department presents Recruitment Night at the library, and that is Thursday, November 6th. Please, if anybody wants to volunteer for the Somers Volunteer Fire Department, we are in desperate need of volunteers. So please come to that event on November 6th at Somers Library, 6 o'clock, to get some more information about it. We're in desperate need of volunteers here in the town of Somers.
So Rob, they've also asked maybe to come before the board at one point.
Yes, we're gonna bring them in too before the board. Maybe we can do it at the work session on the 7th,
Yeah,
6th.
So
Hopefully it's-
coordinate with,
That's the third.
That is the 6th, and this will be on the 6th. So it's somewhat, maybe they can come. Maybe I'll put them afterwards at 7:30, or the following week.
cool.
You've probably seen some signs around town a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Town of Somers Veterans Day Parade and Ceremony. That is Tuesday, November 11th at St. Luke's and Bailey Park, 10 o'clock. We step off at 10:25 and we'll go to Ivandale Cemetery. Shorter route this year just because of closing down the roads and that nature. The 7th annual Somers Track and Field Booster Club Turkey Trot, Thanksgiving morning. That's Thursday, November 27th. And you can register. It's going to be on our website for you guys to register as well. Local farmers market. We have the Somers Farmers Market. We have the Muscoot Farmers Market and North Salem Farmers Market, all taking place the 12th and the October 11th. That is it for me. Patty, do you have a fun fact for this evening?
that we all could use.
Yeah.
I have a
that's-
couple
that
things.
is
I have a couple
performance.
things. So we have, just remind everybody about early voting. Early voting is October 25th to November 2nd. We have a local and county election going on this year, and then our election day is November 4th. And as most of everybody knows, Townhouse is an early voting polling site. It's a tough day to be a Yankee fan, but I would like to point out we are still the greatest team in American baseball. So
Bless you, Patty.
keep going. As everybody knows, it's always a great day to be a Tusker, and our Somers Tuskers taking on Carmel probably for the first time in a long time. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Somers High School, one of our only home games. And my fun fact for today is animals are allergic to people as well.
Really?
Whoa.
It's allergy season, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty cold. These.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Bill?
yeah, just, you mentioned the Leo's Parade coming up. Celebrate how great, and also, my alma mater. The, Somers Education Foundation is having a trivia night next Tuesday at the Barnwood, one of their fundraisers. Please come out and support them. And additional details, www.sefny.org.
Yeah. Rich, anything?
No, Bill told me the Giants are kicking off and that I shouldn't talk.
That was
Amongst many people have said.
Oh, my God. In that case, there's
Give us the history of football.
in 1921.
So just on a serious note for a second, we were, I was up at Heritage Hills. I think we're all in agreement that we're opposing the NYSEG 30%, 35% rate increase. The county legislature was there. The presentation was made to them. They are hiring an attorney to essentially, push back on that rate increase. I think the county legislator is unanimously in agreement that that needs to be done. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that. Rob has spoken a lot about this on that subject. And, we need to push back on this. It's very, very expensive. Electric is becoming, your utility bills have become very, very expensive.
Yeah, they have. I'll add a little bit to that. For SEF, I was at celebration the other day. You might have seen it in the Somers record, where SEF donated a new playground for pre-K. So they kind of did a little bit of a ceremony there, which was really nice to see. So great job to SEF, and thank you so much for donating that playground for the pre-K boys and girls. And then also this Friday night, during the game is youth night up there as well. So youth night is a great night where we get to see all of the girls flag football and youth boy program, the youth boy program, football programs get to run out onto the field. It's a great night. So they'll probably have about, there's 280 girls, I believe, and another couple hundred boys as well for each grade. So it should be a great night. Please come out and support not only them, but also our Somers Tuskers against Carmel. I have nothing else. And with that, I will make the motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Good night, everyone.
Good night.